Hi guys, you'll have to excuse my very lovely background as I am broadcasting from my closet tonight. So tonight has been a really huge, groundbreaking, eventful experience as the probable cause document just came out in the case of Tylee and JJ Vallow. So what I wanted to come here and basically tell you is, and nobody in the media will tell you this because it's just not out there yet, but there was an amazing psychic who foresaw every part of this burial. I will reference the video below, but she actually saw everything. So the beginning of her video, you'll hear her start to kind of tell the setting of where she's seeing these events take place. She envisions what seems to be water. She says it's a lake, but when you look at Chad Daybell's property, it's obviously more than a lake because there's water on both sides of the property, which actually is like a canal or something to that effect. Since it's a huge farming community there in Fremont County, it's not, unlikely that there would be some sort of an irrigation or like a canal system. So you see the water on both sides, and about 9 or 10 minutes into this video, she first touches on the fact that she sees JJ first. She sees JJ in a black garbage bag, and he's being carried by two people, a male and a female. She sees that he is over by water. And when you reference the document that was released tonight, the probable cause document, I can't remember what paragraph because I don't have it right in front of me, which I should, but I don't. I think it was like 33 maybe, and he is, or the person who wrote that document is saying that there is a pond on Chad Daybell's property, and what happens is they had reason to believe that there were bodies right there. So they had taken what seems to be two large rocks. And by the way, the psychic even references boulders. Boulders are rocks. So I think that could have been what she was seeing. And so the people who are uncovering all this mess, they see these 2 or 3 huge rocks and they take those off and discard them, and then they go a little deeper as they're uncovering. I think even paneling was on top of there. So below the paneling, there is a body, what seems to be a body, wrapped in black plastic, and then there's also a layer of white plastic. So it's basically a plastic black bag like you'd use for your leaves or what have you for your yard work. And so in there, the person who was trying to uncover the body, I think, took an instrument and poked a hole through it, and what came out was just this huge whiff of rotting flesh, I'm sure. And as he uncovered the wrap, which was the garbage bag, he saw a brown head of hair. So that's how he knew it was JJ. Well, in Donna Saraphina's video, she completely touches on this. She says that she saw a boat, which I think is, of course, to make the connection that this was water that where the body was by, and that the body was buried, and it was in a black, trash bag, and that it was, in her reference to it, she talks about it being roped, I think, like, a rope around the legs, rope around the midsection, rope around the neck. Well, in the court document, it talks about it being black garbage bag, but also just duct tape. So that's like the only detail I feel that she was just barely there, but she hits on all the details you can imagine. I mean, it's amazing. So the next thing I want to discuss in this psychic foresaw everything as far as this burial goes is the burial of Tylee. So I think it's about 17 minutes into her video. She says that what she's seeing, this is the psychic speaking now, she says what she's seeing is unspeakable horror. She says that they, meaning it sounded like it was Chad, Lori, and it could have even been Alex, they are roasting Tylee's leg. So, in the very next few sentences, she says that there is an unattached barn, which of course you can see on his property. It's I think a red barn, and it's basically a shop or like a unattached garage type deal. She said that in that structure, on 3 sides there are workbenches, and they hacked her body down to pieces and roasted her leg over the fire. Now, later, as she's describing what she's seeing, she talks about the body parts, or the pieces of the body, so the bones, that Chad, she thinks it was Chad, ended up hacking them all to pieces, and that he just distributed them throughout the yard in different places. And so it totally makes sense that in this court document released tonight, the probable cause document, that what they uncover when they go to dig for her, they find 2 bones and then a ton of small little fragmented bones. So it's like everything she said stacked up. She even references the fire pit. She references the structure of the home, of Chad's home. She didn't realize at the time, but she was hitting on every minute detail of this whole experience, of this whole horrific experience. I mean, it's just nuts. Yeah, she talks about the fire pit. She talks about the frame of his home, that the frame was actually, she saw it as a 1-story, and she references it a lot as a cabin, which I'm sure, I don't know about, I don't know anything about being a psychic. I just know that she was extremely right. But I think when the details are given to her, they're given in such fragmented ways that it's really up to your own interpretation to piece together what it is you think you're seeing. So she gets these details and she really has to put them together. So anyway, she says a lot, she refers to it a lot as a cabin, but as we can see, his home is very much just an average, ordinary home. But she does say it was built between the 1950s and the 1970s. The year Chad Daybell's home was actually made, 1960. So as far as the structure of the home goes, she said that the home seemed to be a 1-story, but the further she looked, it was a 2-story converted. And so when I took a look at Realtor.com, I about fell over dead because I saw, oh my gosh, I saw this home, and you'll see it too. I will post the Realtor.com article, but it is a home, and on the back side of it, it's like they added a garage on. And above the garage is a bedroom that has 2 beds that are pretty much the same bed. So it's like 2 twin-sized beds on both sides of the room, just, I guess, parallel to each other. And she even talks about that, but she mentions those beds, those particular beds, as like bunk beds. So she saw them obviously as being very similar in size, and maybe it was the effect of them being stacked that would show their similarity. I don't know. But guys, the psychic, I think she goes by Psychic Reverend Donna Saraphina. Amazing. You have to listen. This should be on all the major media outlets right now, because it's just an absolutely crazy thing that a psychic who made a video back just January 31st, 2020 would be so extremely, her story be so extremely relevant to what was uncovered June 9th, 2020 in Chad Daybell's yard. She is, in my opinion, one of the heroes in this, because She saw everything. She saw everything. And unfortunately, I still feel that law enforcement doesn't take these sources as being as credible as they truly are. So I encourage you, go listen to that video, take notes, that's what I did, and see how many details, after reading this court document, how many details do you see that she references in her video? It's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. So have a wonderful night, and please subscribe. I hope to do videos here and there about this case because it's absolutely fascinating and oh so psychotic that the Cox family, I swear to God, I mean, I've never heard of a crazier case than this. And to me, the Cox family has got a generational curse that will last generations to come because of the destruction and horrific things Alex and Lori have done. So please subscribe and send me a message. I'll try to get back to you. Have a great night. Good night.